Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, better safe than sorry, lawmakers are raising the alarm on the Defense Department's approval to allow Chinese-backed Dito Telecommunity to build its cell sites inside military camps. Could this pose a threat to national security? The military has allayed fears on the construction of cell sites inside military camps, saying the third telco player went through government scrutiny. And some lawmakers continue to urge President Rodrigo Duterte to blacklist Chinese firms involved in the West Philippine Sea reclamation. Armed Forces of the Philippines spokesperson, Major General Edgard Arevalo, and Cagayan de Oro Representative Rufus Rodriguez join us live. Retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio is raising the alarm on the construction of Dito's cell sites inside military camps. Carpio says any security analyst would say that China can easily put spy software through the towers. Dito Telecommunity is 40% owned by a Chinese government corporation. Carpio adds it's like allowing China to put a listening device in a conference room used by our military commanders. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have AFP spokesperson, Major General Edgard Arevalo. General Arevalo, welcome to The Source and salamat po sa inyong oras.
Good morning, Pinky. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be with The Source. Magandang umaga sa ating televiewers and lahat po ng nanonood sa atin all over the country.
And I know you were saying, sir, that nabuhay ulit itong issue ng Dito Telecommunity because it was, of course, during a budget hearing, sinabi po ni Secretary Delfin Lorenzana that he signed already the permit to allow Dito Telecommunity to build cell sites inside military camps. First, what I want to know, General, is this. Saan ho bang mga kampo ito at kailan ho ba mag-uumpisa ang construction?
Sa ngayon, Pinky, kapipirma pa lang ng Secretary of National Defense ng Memorandum of Agreement. So we're now in the process of discussing where exactly these military camps will be at kung ilan. No, but suffice it to say na when we talk about military camps, we don't necessarily mean that at the heart of these military camps, may mga kampo tayo na malalaki ang reservations at pwedeng doon yan ilalagay co-located with other signal facility kagaya ng dalawa pang telco, no? Mention na natin yung Globe and Smart. So this deal is not specifically or especially catering Dito Telecommunity. This is the same deal that we have so far granted with these two telcos, Globe and Smart.
I do understand that, General. Dahil ang sinabi nga ni Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, it's also where Globe and Smart are allowed or have been allowed to build cell sites. So tell us where these military camps are.
Sa ngayon, Pinky, wala pa. Hindi from my end, hindi pa namin alam exactly kung saan ito. Pinag-uusapan pa lang natin ito kasi kapipirma pa nga ni Secretary Lorenzana ng Memorandum of Agreement. So I'm not yet privy as to where exactly and how many these cell sites or towers will be.
Just to rephrase my question, General, saan ho may cell sites sa loob ng military camps ang Globe at Smart?
Okay. If that's what you're asking. Hindi ko rin hawak yung data na yan, but I'm sure in key facilities natin, I believe we have one in Camp Aguinaldo, meron din tayo sa Baguio City, sa Philippine Military Academy, and other key facilities, I believe Fort Bonifacio, meron din. Hindi ko hawak yung list na meron tayo.
Okay. I ask that because ang sinasabi nga ni Secretary Delfin, it's also where supposed to be, General, where Smart and Globe have their towers. Yes. So let me move on to this. Is it important for the military to actually know the individuals, kung sino-sino po yung makakapasok sa mga kampo ng militar na mangangasiwa o mangunguna sa construction?
Definitely, Pinky. Kasama yan doon sa sinasabi natin na safeguards hinggil sa paglalagay ng mga towers na ito. Every time that there will be installations to be done, may kasama tayo na IT experts from the AFP, from other agencies of government, particularly ang NTC at ang DICT, who, by the way, were the agencies of government that endorsed this to be the new third player or new player in this particular field of telecommunications. Ganon din, Pinky, if there will be repairs that had to be undertaken once na naka-establish na ito or naitayo na, every time na merong mga repairs or maintenance or visits na gagawin ang Dito Telecommunity, as we do require itong Globe and Smart, lagi po yung may kasama na IT and ICT expert from the AFP and relevant agencies of government.
Will the military allow non-Filipinos to actually enter inside the military camps once the construction begins?
Meron tayong mga IT experts na kasama diyan. Definitely, if there will be non-Filipinos or foreigners na papasok sa ating mga kampo, yung ating requirement for clearances, yung ating requirement for identification, prior notice, kinukuha po natin yan. Basic yan, kahit sa pagpasok pa lang sa kampo, inire-require na natin yan, lalong-lalo na kung it has something to do with this telecom facility. I-require natin, definitely.
So, papayagan nyo po, pero meron pong magiging pag-imbestiga bago papayagan pumasok sa loob ng kampo. Basically, that's what you're saying, General.
If it's part of the maintenance and putting up, I understand they may be allowed, but subject to stringent security and identification requirements.
All right, because you were talking about IT experts also and security experts from the military. Was there any point, General, that you can tell us that your IT experts or your security experts raised the alarm over the construction of Dito Telecommunity cell sites inside military camps?
Sa totoo lang, Pinky, we consider yung threat na yan to be low because nagkasagawa na tayo ng mga assessments before tayo pumirma dito sa kontratang ito. The Secretary of National Defense, Delphine Lorenzana, already asked the AFP to submit an assessment hinggil sa bagay ng mga risk assessments at ginawa naman natin yan. But even before this, Pinky, I was telling you, bago naman mag-operate ang Dito Telecommunity, dumaan muna ito sa masusing pag-aaral, deliberations, mga questions and answers, and all these issues have been raised during the hearing sa Congress bago siya napagkalooban ng tinatawag nating congressional franchise. Now that it has been granted and subsequently endorsed to the AFP by the DICT and the National Telecommunications Commission, these are relevant agencies, ito yung expertise nila, and they endorsed it to the AFP. And part of the requirement for the Dito Telecommunity to operate ay dapat siya merong engagement, dapat siya merong kapartner na stakeholder kagaya and including the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So dumating ito sa table ng AFP na meron na siyang approval, meron na siyang congressional franchise na consider na mga questions. It was relevant agencies of government to even endorse this. So ngayon, pinag-aralan na natin na nandito na, pinag-aralan naman ng AFP yung risk na pwedeng ma-involve kung maglalagay nga nitong mga antennas and cell sites dito sa loob ng mga kampo.
Let me follow up on that because you said that the threat is low. So what is that low threat, sir?
Low threat in terms of yung sinasabi na concerns about spying, concerns about listening devices or eavesdropping. Pinag-aralan na po natin yan at kagaya na nga sinabi natin, I just cannot mention everything because those are part of the matters that are also of national security, yung ating competency. may mga expert naman tayo na nakakaintindi din yan. And then sinabi na nga natin, and the reason why Secretary Lorenzana, as he said, the reason why he signed it already is because nasatisfy naman siya sa present ng AFP in terms of what preparations, what measures have been instituted to ensure that national security will be protected. And by the way, Pinky, may I point out that nung napabalita na ang tungkol dito, again, questions were raised about the possibility of eavesdropping sa ating bansa. And during the budget hearing, if I recall it right, I was there with the Secretary and the Chief of Staff of the AFP, hiningi kay Secretary Lorenzana sa AFP ang kopya ng Memorandum of Agreement na to for Congress to review prior the signing. At ni-review ulit nila ito. And after the review, wala naman silang comment, wala naman silang adverse reaction with regard to the content of the MOA. Hence, pinirmahan ng ating Secretary of National Defense after na ma-assure din siya, after na wala namang reklamo, after na wala namang issues na raised, na-assure siya ng AFP, and indeed, we did our own risk assessment, kaya po ito napirmahan at nag-materialize into a full-blown Memorandum of Agreement.
But General, why is it necessary to build cell sites inside military camps?
Well, ang sagot dyan, Pinky, is kasama yan doon sa mga requirements ng Dito Telecommunity. And in that particular case, ang kailangan kasi nila diyan is the added security that their co-location with AFP camps can provide. Alam naman natin na yung mga cell sites nila necessarily has to be located doon sa mga areas na not usually inhabited. At pagka magkaganon, apart from the security that they own, these telcos are providing para dyan sa mga cell sites and towers na yan, nagpapatulong din sila sa AFP para bantayan ang kanilang mga cell sites. At alam naman natin ang kadahilanan sapagkat napaka-importante ng mga facilities na ito, napaka-importante ng mga infrastructure na ito sa kabuhayan, ekonomiya at economy of the country. At lalong-lalo na ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya, na napakahalaga ng connectivity, masigit nga ang craving for a third telco or a new player. So kung makakatulong ang AFP sa pagbabantay sa kanila, we will be able to do that, beneficial sa kanila, kung magko-collocate sila sa mga kampo ng armed forces. At kami naman on our end, we may not have to disperse thinly ang mga tao namin, assisting and helping itong mga cell sites na ito, na ginagamit naman silang extortion na reasons nitong mga communist terrorist group kagaya ng New People's Army na sinusunog at binobomba yung kanilang mga cell sites. So this is mutually beneficial. First is beneficial para sa mga telco. Second, mutually beneficial na rin sa AFP in terms of displacement ng aming mga tao. And of course, yung ibinabayad nila sa amin by way of remuneration in case of Globe and Smart, pero dito sa case ng Dito Telecommunity, they are going to compensate us in kind. Kagaya ng mga training, equipment, upgrade ng ating mga capability, yon ang kanilang ibabayad sa atin in exchange of this co-location.
Yeah. So let me go to that. What kind of training will you get in return from Dito Telecommunity?
What kind of?
Sabi mo kasi hindi ho ba meron pong kapalit ito katulad ng training. You mentioned that. Ano ho bang klaseng training ang posibleng ibigay sa militar ng Dito Telecommunity?
Yung training natin sa mga pag-maintain ng facility, yung mga bagong technology at mga bagong updates and upgrades na kailangan, yung pagka-currency ng ating mga information communication technology experts, kailangan yan, yung currency nila, yung pagiging pagpapatuloy ng kanilang training, pag-upgrade ng kanilang nalalaman, lalong-lalo na sa field na ito. Kasama po yan sa mga maitutulong sa atin itong Dito Telecommunity.
Just to follow up on that, General, can't your security experts or your IT experts do that on their own?
Well, pwede naman. Pero ang binabanggit lang natin, if they are going to compensate the armed forces, pwede naman natin siyang isama. Kung ayaw natin siyang isama, yung training nila, we may not. So that may have to be compensated by other means. Kagaya ng materials, facilities, upgrade ng ating mga facilities. Bottom line is in-kind siya, hindi siya cash.
Opo. All right. Just one more question, General, because I spoke to retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio yesterday. Ito po yung sinabi niya, and I need you to react to this. This was dumb. That's the word he used to allow these towers to be installed inside military camps. Sabi po niya, even if your phone is turned off, they can listen to your conversation. He added that they can actually take command of anybody's iPhone through a spy app. He adds all chips that would be put in these towers are made in China. The software actually also comes from China. You're allowing China to put a listening device in your conference room used by your commanders. Is this not a cause for concern?
Well, we have a very high regard and respect to the good former Associate Justice Carpio. No? But much as we have that respect sa kanya, sana maunawaan din niya at irespeto rin niya yung kakayahan ng ating mga IT experts sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. Yan pong mga ganyang sinasabi niya, yan po ay kasama na sa mga safeguards na sinasabi natin. Since pinoint out na rin yan, let me tell you that when we have conferences, hindi naman po namin dinadala ang cellular phone sa loob ng aming mga conference rooms. Iniiwan po namin sa labas yan apart from naka-off as part of this mga sinasabi nating security features. Again, ulit-ulitin ko kasi doon naman tayo dapat nating makita ang konteksto nito. Lahat po ng issues na yan, I believe this is not just the first time that the good Justice Carpio raised the alarm or raised these issues. And that had been discussed thoroughly and deliberated on during the congressional hearing for the granting of congressional franchise. And the fact that this has been thoroughly discussed and put across, naunawaan natin na since pinayagan nila at hindi naman nila pinutulan, binigyan nila ng congressional franchise, then the government believes na na-handle na natin yung mga ganong issues. And then yung mismong agencies of government na nakaalam, again, the ICT, National Telecommunity, ang NTC, itong mga to mismo ang nag-endorse para ito maipagpatuloy. And then the need of the people for a third telco because of the massive complaint na meron tayo sa dalawang existing telco.
I understand.
So ngayon na pangailangan natin ito, ang Armed Forces of the Philippines is just, kumbaga, this fell on our lap for us to help this materialize by allowing them to collocate in our camps. Hindi naman bago. And we said, meron naman na tayong nakaset up dito, nagkaroon na tayo ng risk assessments. And apart from that, meron din tayong sineset up na ating mga measures to make sure na yung national security ay ating mapoprotektahan at yung mga issues na yan have been taken into account and proper measures have been done to address them.
General, my last question, please answer briefly,
Sure.
as briefly as you can. Kayo ho ba, hindi ho kayo nangangamba na posibleng magkaroon ng security concern o magkaroon po ng pag-spy sa atin sa pag-build nito mga cell towers sa loob ng military camps?
Well, we said we already assessed that very low ang risk na magkaroon ng ganong possibility at yung lowness ng risk na yon, we have already addressed that. So we think this is not a cause of major concern, but be that as it may, magpapatuloy ang ating ginagawang pag-i-evaluate ng ating telecommunications to make sure ensure na ang ating national security will be protected.
Because it's not a cause for major concern, but is it a cause for minor concern, sir?
It's a low risk, Pinky. Sa totoo lang, kahit anong bansa ngayon sa tindi updates ng ating technology, wala namang bansa na pwedeng magsabi na 100% hindi sila pwedeng ma-penetrate. Yung mga gamit na kinakatakutan natin ngayon, yung mga brand ng gamit, ng gadgets na meron tayo ngayon, lahat yan ay may involvement ang bansang kinakatakutan natin.
AFP Spokesperson Major General Edgard Arevalo. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Good to see you.
Magandang umaga.
And coming up, we'll speak to Congressman Rufus Rodriguez on his thoughts on the Dito cell sites and the blacklisting, if we have time, of Chinese companies by the U.S. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.